Okay, good afternoon. My name is Chris Nappy. I'm a Senior Natural Resource Officer for the town of Barnstable. We're meeting today, November 5th, 2024. The time is now 12:03 for aquaculture hearings for Cape Cod oyster transfers and renewal applications. And also Dave Ryan's here as a representative of Cape Cod Oyster to give some feedback if needed regarding any of these applications that they sent. So as you can see up on the screen there now, Shellfish Constable Amy Croto is sharing. There's a list of 6 applications that we have to get through in this hearing. There's 3 transfers and 3 renewals. So we'll just start with number 1 on the list. It's for site NG027. So that's on the north side. That is a 2-acre grant issued to currently issued to Al Supernaut of 262 Bridge Street in Osterville, Massachusetts. He is wishes to transfer that site to David J. Ryan, manager at Ryan Oyster 2 LLC, 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Catuit, Massachusetts. And this would be issued a new license for a period of 5 years as a standard for a new license holder. So on the screen there, you can see that Dave lists this as a 2-acre grant with a mean low water depth of 0 feet, a mean high water depth of 9 feet. The existing bottom conditions he lists as dense mud, and there is no existing natural shellfish populations there. He wishes to cultivate eastern oysters and hard clams. Other species listed are not listed, and specific details of proposed method of cultivation is 3x4 vinyl coated wire cages for year 2 oysters and ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters. If growing hard clams, they will be bottom planted under nets. He proposes to harvest the shellfish by dumping bags in trays or dry digging. He does institute a predator control program. And yes, this proposed shellfish grant is his sole means of support along with other aquaculture licenses. And he does employ outside help with the operation. And as I stated, this would be a 5-year term for the grant, as would be a new application. And the map is there on the screen now. That's a 2-acre grant. The current license is 9902. So yeah, I'll turn it over to Amy Croto regarding this transfer.
So Natural Resources doesn't have any opposition to this transfer. This transfer is now possible under recent changes to our aquaculture regulations that were approved this year, that now allow an individual to hold up to 4 acres on either side of town rather than 2. None of these applications have been reviewed by the Shellfish Committee yet. They will review them at their November 13th meeting. The second floor Selectmen's Conference Room of Town Hall at 6 p.m. And it will only be after that point that we would make formal recommendation of approval to the town manager for any of these.
Okay. Yeah, so that will be for all of these applications, all 6 of them. They'll have to review them at the 13th, the meeting on the 13th before we can give final approval, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. All right, very good. Dave, do you have anything to add regarding this first application?
I do not.
Okay. Thank you. So we might as well just move on to number 2 on the list there. It's a transfer application for on the list there for that came through on 10/28/2024. The site is listed as SG006, but it's should be, we're just gonna have to amend that to SG005. Is actually the site that we need to be referencing here. And you can see that at the top of the application, it's listed as SG006, and that will be amended to SG005. This site is in North Bay in Osterville. So it's a South Side grant. So the transfer would be currently issued to Al Supernaut at 262 Bridge Street in Osterville, Massachusetts, and he wishes to transfer to David J. Ryan, manager Ryan Oyster 2 LLC, 415 Sampson's Mill Road in Katuitt, Massachusetts, and issuance of a new license for a period of 5 years, as is standard for a new license. So Dave has in his transfer application, there is it's actually not listed. So we have here okay, it's not on till page 3 that we actually have any information there. So page 2, if you go back, Amy, please, it's not listed as a number of acres, mean low water depth, mean high water depth. Yeah, we don't have that filled in.
Because it's a floating upweller, so it's a 0.02 acres and doesn't really have like a mean low or high water depth because it's installed on that dock.
Okay.
And they use it just as a seed grow out operation to transition animals to other larger licensed sites for grow out. So
very good. So it's for the floating upweller. Thank you. So he plans to harvest these shellfish using FLUPSI SOP, so standard operating procedures. It's not applicable to institute a predator control program. The shellfish grant is not his sole means of support, and he does employ outside help in the operation. And as I stated, this requested term would be for 5 years. You can see here is the map that shows it as 0.02 acres, currently licensed to Cape Cod Oyster Company in North Bay. So, Amy, anything else to add other than that it's for the FLUPSI?
No, this is just a continuation of the previous president of Cape Cod Oyster seeking to retire and transitioning sort of a change of power and therefore licenses to appropriate places. You know, Dave Ryan's been with the company for a very long time, and this is just a piece of that puzzle towards, I think, you know, ultimate retirement for Al and for his wife, Robin. So that's what all of these, you know, transfers and renewals are regarding.
Very good. Okay. Okay, so moving on to number 3. This is a transfer application for site NG032. It's a North Side grant, Barnstable Harbor Aquaculture Zone. It's currently issued to Robin Peterson of 262 Bridge Street in Osterville, Massachusetts. She wishes to transfer to Cheryl A. Ryan, manager, Ryan Oyster 1 LLC, 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Katuitt, Massachusetts, and issuance of a new license for a period of 5 years. As I stated, this is a North Side grant. Again, we don't have anything filled in here on the application regarding number of acres involved, mean low water depth, mean high water depth, existing bottom conditions of the proposed area, existing natural shellfish population, the species cultivated, or if any other species are to be cultivated, and specific methods of cultivation. As I stated, this is a 2-acre grant, but I would suggest maybe, Dave, if you have anything to add regarding mean low water depth or mean high water depth for this application.
Yeah, can I speak for a second?
Yep.
So yeah, I had submitted everything and then I resubmitted with, you know, broken out into these 6 steps. So the earlier version did have every page filled out. So it was just a somehow when I was making copies and resubmitting, I ended up putting a blank page 2 rather than a completed page 2. Oh, there was a completed page 2.
There is a completed page And I'm looking back through my emails, and I'm wondering if I can share that screen instead.
Because yeah, all the Barnstable Harbor locations, it was, the same page 2 and 3 for each of them, with the only difference is on page 1.
Right. All the sites are very close to each other.
Yes, they're all contiguous. Yep.
Right.
So this is the what I'm currently sharing now is we're on NG 031 currently, or 032?
32.
Okay.
There you go. That was it.
There we go. Oh, yeah, it's not here still. Oh, okay. So what happened is when it...
Oh, there's 2 page 2s, a blank page and a completed page.
Blank, yeah. So we'll use this one then to refer to.
Yeah, I knew I had filled them out.
Yeah. Right. So I'll go off of this grant application, page 2 for site NG032. That's up on the screen there. Dave lists it as 2.0 acres, as we previously discussed, with a mean low water depth of 0.0 feet, a mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. The existing bottom conditions of the proposed area are dense mud, existing natural shellfish population listed as none. The species of shellfish to be cultivated are eastern oysters and hard-shell clams. No other species are listed. Specific details on the proposed method of cultivation. He lists here as 3 foot by 4 foot vinyl coated wire cages for year 2 oysters, ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters, and if growing hard clams, they'll be bottom planted under nets. And then he proposes to harvest these shellfish by dumping bags in trays and dry digging. He does institute a predator control program. This is his sole means of support, along with other aquaculture licenses. And they do plan to employ outside help in the operation. And as stated, the requested term of this would be for 5 years. And then we have the map there as stated that shows that it's currently licensed to Robert Peterson, that's site NG032. And it's a 2-acre grant in Barnstable Harbor on the north side. So Amy, do you have anything else to add regarding this application?
No, Cheryl is Dave's wife. They've both been involved in aquaculture for a number of years in town. Both of them are up to date on all their paperwork and fees, proof of domicile, etc. So there would be no issue from natural resources. It falls within our existing regulations as a requested change. And again, like with all of these applications, will be reviewed at the Shellfish Committee meeting on the 13th.
Very good. Dave, do you have anything else to add other than what's in the application?
I do not.
Thank you. Okay, so number 4 would be a renewal application. And so this is existing license 10-08 for site NG034. It's issued to Cape Cod Oyster Company of 262 Bridge Street in Osterville, Massachusetts. So yeah, it's a renewal for that. And it would be issued now to Cape Cod Oyster Company. They're changing the address to 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Katuitt, Massachusetts, with an additional request for the issuance and expiration date to be consistent with the transfers listed above. So he notes that in the application that he'd like NG034 to be on the same time frame as the existing listed. So as I stated, this is a 2-acre grant on the north side. And Amy, if you could just share that page. Back, please. The mean low water depth of 0 feet and a mean high, it would be page 2, yeah, mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. The existing bottom conditions of the proposed area would be dense mud. The existing natural shellfish population is listed as none. Species of shellfish to be cultivated, eastern oysters and hard-shell clams. No other species listed to be cultivated. Specific details of the proposed method of cultivation are 3 foot by 4 foot vinyl coated wire cages for year 2 oysters, ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters. If growing hard clams, they'll be bottom planted under nets. He proposes to harvest the shellfish by dumping bags in trays or dry digging. They will institute a predator control program. And yes, this is the proposed sole means of support along with other aquaculture licenses. And they do employ outside help in the operation. And the requested term, as we stated, would be for, along with the same expiration date of the applications above. And this is, again, site NG034 in Barnstable Harbor Aquaculture Zone. And it's a 2-acre grant. Amy, do you have anything to add regarding this application renewal?
No, other than, so typically we only allow renewals within 3 years of an expiration date of a license, but where this is such a large transition of a well-established company, and in order to move in line with consolidation and also with ease of future renewals, it was requested that these renewals have issuance and expiration dates consistent with the transfer application, so the 5-year period.
Okay. Just making a quick note on that. Dave, do you have anything to add other than what's on the application?
I do not.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to number 5. That would be for a renewal application for site NG026, currently issued to David J. Ryan of 415 Sampson's Mill Road, to be amended as site NG026 and issued to David J. Ryan, manager, Ryan Oyster 2 LLC, 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Katuitt, Massachusetts, with an additional request for the issuance and expiration date to be consistent with the transfers listed above. So again, we'll be on the same time frame as the previous applications. So for site NG026, that's a north side site in the Barnstable Harbor Aquaculture Zone. It's approximately 2 acres with a mean low water depth of 0 feet, a mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. The existing bottom conditions are listed as dense mud. The existing natural shellfish population is listed as none. The species of shellfish to be cultivated are eastern oysters and hardshell clams. No other species of shellfish are described that they would like to cultivate there. Specific details on the proposed method of cultivation are 3 foot by 4 foot vinyl coated wire cages for year 2 oysters, ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters. If growing hard clams, they'll be bottom planted under nets. They propose to harvest the shellfish by dumping bags in trays or dry digging. They will institute a predator control program. This is their sole means of support along with other aquaculture licenses, and they do employ outside help in the operation. The requested term, as stated, will be 5 years along with the time frame of the other sites. And this is the map shows here a 1.99 acre site currently listed to David Ryan in the north side Barnstable Harbor Aquaculture Zone. Amy, do you have anything to add regarding this renewal?
Nope, just that it's similar to the previous application just reviewed for renewal. This is in an effort to consolidate when licenses will have to be renewed moving forward as they transition with this sort of movement of power in Cape Cod Oyster Company.
Very good. Dave, do you have anything to add regarding this application?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. All right, that's 5. So number 6, the last one on the list. So this is a renewal application and amendment to existing license 03-02 for site NG031, currently issued to Cheryl Ryan of 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Katuitt, Massachusetts, to be amended as license 03-02, site NG031, issued to Cheryl A. Ryan, manager, Ryan Oyster 1 LLC, 415 Sampson's Mill Road, Katuitt, Mass, with an additional request for the issuance and expiration date to be consistent with the transfers listed previously in this hearing. So as I stated, this is approximately 2-acre site in the north side Barnstable Harbor Aquaculture Zone. Approximate acres involved are 2, mean low water depth of 0 feet, a mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. The existing bottom conditions of the proposed area are described as dense mud. Existing natural shellfish population is none. The species of shellfish to be cultivated are eastern oysters or hardshell clams. And no other species are listed to be cultivated. Specific details of the method of cultivation are 3-foot by 4-foot vinyl coated wire cages for year 2 oysters, ADP style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters. If growing hard clams, they'll be bottom planted under nets. They propose to harvest their shellfish by dumping bags in trays or dry digging. They do institute a predator control program. This is the proposed sole means of support, along with other aquaculture license, and they do employ outside help in the operation. And as stated, this will be 5 years to be along the time frame of the other sites. Amy, do you have anything to add regarding this renewal for NG031?
I do not, similar to the Cape Cod oyster license and also the license amendment requested by David Ryan. This is a license amendment for a site that's already held by Cheryl to just be to reflect the new LLC that they've created.
Very good. And Dave, do you have anything to add regarding this application?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, well, after all that, I think I have your application process memorized to heart. As Amy stated, this will be reviewed by the Shellfish Committee on the 13th, you said, so it's tomorrow. And then after that, it would be probably 30 days.
Actually, 1 week from tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, today's not the 12th. Yeah, so a week from tomorrow. And yeah, then it'll be about 30 days until you would receive the license from the town manager, word from the town manager regarding all of these applications. So
terrific. I plan to be at the Shellfish Committee meeting on the 13th. I will be, I adjusted some travel plans, so I will be arriving on the early in the afternoon of the 13th. So barring some difficult weather challenges, I'll be there on that night. I was supposed to come in the next day, but I cut my trip short a day. So
okay.
All right. Weather related issues or anything, just let me know and I can go through your applications for you at the Shellfish Committee meeting.
Yep. Terrific. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so if I can't remember if I noted at the beginning, but this was recorded, so that's public record. The time is now 12:26 and we can close the hearing.